King of the Dot, World Domination 7. We got Cortez, we got Head Ice, we got a title match. And this is, of course, a rematch of their classic battle on Lions Den back in the day, where Cortez was jerked, allegedly. Years later, Cortez finally gets his chance. This is rematch with Ice, and it's for the King of the Dot chain. And I mean, this battle was just so boring to me. And I think the crowd set the tone because they were not reacting to anything. You know, there were maybe a few haymakers that got slight reactions that a regular bar would usually get, but for the most part, they were pretty dead. And I spoke about this in another recap where, as a battle rapper, when you prepare your material, you try to prepare, pauses for crowd reaction, and a lot of times you think you have these haymakers that are going to get a huge reaction, and when you're in that ring and they don't, it could really throw you off. And that's when you start to see stumbles and chokes, things of that nature. So I say that to say this: Head Ice, this might have been the sloppiest Head Ice I've ever seen. I think he stumbled at least once in every round, and when the final footage comes out, they're probably gonna edit it out. I've seen King of the Dot do that in the past. Protect their brand, their battle of brands are the ones that they're pushing. So I fully expect that to happen. But Head Ice is pretty smooth. He had a few moments in the first round where it seemed like he was stumbling. It wasn't really stumble, just like a long pause, but he'd play it off like he wasn't. But all in all, his breath control was off. Ice just looked like a old boxer, and they brought him back after like a 5-year hiatus, threw him in the ring, no training, and it was like every 16 he'd just stop and try to catch his breath, sweating as usual. That's just Ice, I was gonna say let's get right into this battle, but before we get into this battle, Cortez, what you down 0-1 with the jacket? Yeah, this leather jacket, you got a pink ribbon. Breast cancer awareness. I support breast cancer research. I don't support pink ribbons. I don't know if people look into that. There was a whole lawsuit recently that they finally, discovered that they are scam artists. These people who spend all that money that they collect, it goes straight to producing and manufacturing clothing that's pink. So we're all aware that cancer exists. If we're gonna donate money, let's donate it to research. So while Cortez comes out, the leather jacket, got the pink ribbon and on the front and the back. I don't know, not a good look. Cortez is down 0-1. Cortez starts off the first round, and it's good. He's got a decent first round, but if you're a seasoned battle rap fan, you will have heard at least 90% of the lines he said, the wordplay within the lines, everything. It's just rehashed concepts that you heard it all before. I wasn't too impressed. Just really basic stuff that I heard in the 90s from, not even battle rap, just regular tracks, just common lines, you've heard a lot of times. But he had a couple of good lines, but nothing too crazy, and I guess you would expect more since this was a rematch, and since he's wanted this rematch for so long. Add in the fact that the chain's on the line, so it's a decent first round. I don't get all the people saying Cor got robbed. I don't know if it's just human nature to think that the person who lost should have won and the person who won should have lost. But KOTD judges have been kind of funny style in the past, and I think ever since that Paul Rich, this battle, it's always questioned, and I guess that comes with the territory. So. Alright, well, Cortez first round, decent. Head Ice starts his first round. He tries to give the KOTD crowd a joke, and a dick joke, I think he said something along the lines of, I put my dick in your girl's hand, and something about the size, she can't believe the size. And then Cortez puts his dick in her hand, and she says something like, I don't want to get high. He's basically saying Cortez's dick is the size of either a joint or a blunt or whatever. You can use your imagination if you want, but Head Ice gets crickets. Nobody understood the joke. Nobody reacted. And he said something like, Not that you'll catch it later, it'll catch you later. So I thought that was pretty funny, but that was just sort of a foreshadowing of how this battle was gonna go. This crowd is not gonna give it up for anything. They're probably not even understanding half of what's being said. But with that said, Head Ice gets into his round and he gets right to it. Character assassination. He's breaking down Cortez and he structures it well. I like what he was doing there. He had basically 10 laws and he was just breaking down law by law why Cortez isn't a G and everything that's wrong with his character, all of his actions. And I like the concept, but the laws themselves, they weren't too crazy. And I was following Ice. This was probably like his least abstract round. I definitely understood it all, and it was good, but a lot of stuff that when you look at it all in all, you're sort of like, I don't really look at Cortez any differently. And it's like if you had 10 bullet points to get into, and you didn't convince me really of any of them, how effective was your round? And maybe it was a case of, I don't know if you ever heard George Carlin's bit on like the 10 Commandments and how, it's bullshit and basically they just picked a nice round number. Let's go with 10. And so it'll get weaker because now you're just filling in the blanks to come up with 10. I kind of got that with Ice's 10 laws, but I still liked it. He put it together well. And I do like the way he delivered it because Ice's flow gets so monotonous, and I've been feeling like that more lately than ever. And this round was different, a bit of a change of pace, but that might have also been because of the breath control. He just wasn't in good shape this battle. I'm not sure what was going on with you, Ice, but that first round I had going ahead Ice. I thought he got that pretty clearly. I don't know why everybody thinks, Cortez won. I don't know. But let's get into round two, right? So Cortez comes out, second round, much better. He turns up, and in my opinion, this was round of the battle. One thing Cortez has over Ice is that, I won't say he's a better rapper than Head Ice, but he's definitely more entertaining. And he could really sell these bars that you've heard before, but this second round was much better than his first round. He had 3 haymakers back to back towards the end of his round that definitely had you leaning towards Cortez. A very impressive round, and this is the kind of round that I expected to see from him all 3 rounds. Unfortunately, he only had it here in his second round. Now, towards the end of his second round, he brought out that infamous picture. I don't know how many people remember, but Had I tweeted this pic, this is going back a couple years, but there's some chick on his bed, flannel shirt, Tim's on, no pants, she had a thong on, and she's a little masculine looking, I thought that was definitely a chick. It was something odd about the way she was built, kind of midgety, if you will. I don't even know how to describe it, but if you've seen the pic, you'll know what I'm talking about. And it was funny. Cortez definitely, he tried to pass out papers, and then he held the paper up to the camera. I thought he was gonna try to summer jam screen him, but he didn't. They didn't put the full pic up there. They just showed the picture of Cortez holding the picture, and his hand was shaking, and you don't see Ice in the camera view. And I just got a weird thought for a second, and I was like, you know what, Head Ice might snuff him right now, and he didn't. He kept his composure, which is good because it just showed he didn't care. But either way, great round from Cortez. Like I said, round of the battle. Round two, we get into Head Ice, and Head Ice went in, but this was back to sort of like the same old Ice. The weird thing with Ice, like I said, his delivery could get kind of boring, and when you combine that with the fact that he's not getting any reaction from the crowd, plus his style, he says a lot of slick shit, but it's hard to, if you were doing, let's say, like a point system or whatever, and you're gonna give points for haymakers, extra points and stuff like what do you give for Head Ice's lines? Like he has slick shit, and then he'll transition into the next line, and the way he transitions is real clean. So but at the same time, are these haymakers? It's just slick wordplay here and there. But Head Ice continued with the character assassination. That was basically the gist of his 3 rounds. And that was also what was kind of boring about Head Ice's material. Like, he had good material, but he kept bringing up stories of basically, just different stories about how Cortez isn't, a G, and going in on, I know so and so, and he told me when that went down that you did this, and it just way too much of that throughout this whole battle. But Head Eyes did have a great round. I would definitely give the second round to Cortez. Right now I'd say yeah, it's 1-1. 1-1-1. Cortez's jacket got a round too. So we move on to the third round, and Cortez's third starts off good. I like his approach. He's basically breaking down how Head Ice is a slave to that KOTD chain, and everyone remembers that event at UW where the Suge battle got blocked, and Organic was even in the building and everything. So great angle. But then I don't know. I'd say his whole third round he had a good approach. But it just wasn't delivered well. So he turns into this whole. It's like Cortez he's presenting his case as if he's like a politician, and this is what he'll do for your city if he gets elected city councilman. Like, literally, that's that vibe you get, and it was not good. That's not what we want to hear as battle rap fans. I get it. I get where he was going with it, and he's trying to show how he would be a better King of the Dot, or just a better battle rapper in general, because he's saying, what moves have you really made, Head Ice? But I don't really like that angle where people try to say, like, you've been in the game for this long, and you should be doing this, you should be doing that, you should be running a league. Like, should every battle rapper be running a league? Do we need that? I don't think so. I know a few have done it successfully, but I feel like the last thing battle rap needs is more leagues. But it is what it is. Cortez, he had a good third round. Little sloppy though, and that might have had something to do with why it didn't hit the way it probably should have. And of course, the crowd again just not really into it. So, Cortez decent third. The door is wide open for Head Ice to take it, in my opinion, and so Head Ice is third, and Head Ice goes in. He has a good third, but again, it's just more the same with these stories, and he just had that one long-winded story about basically he's trying to explain throughout the battle that Cortez is disloyal. Maybe he's trying to say he's pussy for not putting hands on Disaster. He's had all these opportunities too, and he never has. Everyone's heard Cortez's side to all that, basically saying, yeah, I have seen this, and I told him, math needs that fair one with you. It's a weird situation, but at the same time, you get it. Everybody was kind of hard on Hollow because it looked bad. He was on camera with like Crack City, and Hollow's there with them joking and laughing and stuff. So if Cortez is doing the same thing, Math should feel some type of way. I'm not close enough to them or that situation to really judge Cortez based on stories. So the funny thing though, so he's telling this long-winded story. He's telling you how many people could fit in the car, if they're fat, how many skinny people could fit, everyone that's in the car, what was going on. I think Quest McCody was playing music for everyone. There's someone named Blackout in the back seat. He's Crack City. It was as if Head Ice was trying to give you as many details as possible so that you'll believe the story, because how could he be lying? Look at all these details, but it just turns out to be just a really boring story. And when he finally gets through it, Head Ice says to Core, like, am I lying? Am I lying? And Cortez is like, I forget exactly what he said, but yeah, along the lines of, you're lying. Yeah, this is not real. None of this happened. Yeah, I believe Head Ice, but at the same time, Cortez's reaction kind of deflated that whole story, and the story was just boring to begin with. But All in all, had Ice had a very good round. It was just kind of long, and this battle in general was just really boring. So I couldn't help but just sort of just feeling like time. Let's just call time. This is a wrap. This battle has been long enough, and it's the same type of approach. But so in the end, judge's decision had Ice, and I don't know. I can't argue with that. I could definitely see both sides of it. A lot of times people say if you want to win, you got to go twice as hard to like dethrone somebody. And I don't believe that, but I don't think Cortez went as hard as he should have. Maybe in his mind, he thought these 3 rounds were perfect, but didn't come off that way. He's a better writer than that too. Like I said, a lot of those lines I've heard before. You'd think he's sitting on bars for Head Ice for like 10 years. Or maybe he was, and maybe that's why I heard all these lines before. It was just not impressive. A lot of jabs. If this was a boxing match, Cortez landed a lot of jabs. And if you're going to give him points based on that, then fair enough. But I thought this battle was very debatable. It could have really went either way, and anytime Head Ice is in a battle, it's a preference battle because how are you gonna judge what he's doing up there? He's so different from everybody else. He's not your average rapper, and a lot of the stuff he says does go over heads, and he's still one in that room. And sometimes you gotta wonder: are the judges giving him the benefit of the doubt and saying, "Well, I didn't understand what he was saying, but it was probably fire. He delivered it like it was." I don't know. I do catch a lot of what Ice is saying, and I thought he had a great performance, but at the same time, I could have been better. It was just a little boring, and just too much of that going after Cortez's character, and I don't really look at Cortez any differently after any of those rounds. So it is what it is. It was a good battle. I'm definitely not giving it enough credit, but at the same time, I just really did expect more. When you have a rematch, when you have a title match, you want to see that Head Ice that battled, Big K and Cortez at his best. Like this just wasn't, I just wasn't crazy about it, but all in all, it was a good battle. That's my take on it. Honestly, I do think it was debatable. I would probably edge it to Ice 2-1. Say first and third. I watched it a few times and just felt the same way every time. But I don't know. You let me know what you think. I know I was a little all over the place right now, but yeah, that battle made me tired. So whatever. All right. I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.